I'm going to describe now the purpose and the structure of the matrix. The matrix has 8 domains in total, containing 46 indicators, and we'll come on to describe exactly what those are. For each of the indicators, there are 5 descriptor statements, from statement 1 across to statement 5. But the purpose of the matrix is not to track linear progress in that quasi-scientific way. It's really to understand which of the descriptions best fits your current practice, your current situation, with a view, of course, that over time you'll be able to assess change against that baseline position. They're entirely subjective. There is no absolute right or wrong answer. You should read the descriptors, reflect on your practice, and make a decision collectively or individually as to where you think you sit. It's open to your interpretation of what the words in the matrix mean to you. We've tried to keep the language open, quite deliberately, trying to account for a range of different service contexts that this might be used within. You can undertake this as an individual exercise, either as a practitioner or a manager, but you could also undertake it as a team exercise, bringing a group of you together to collectively come to a view about where you are. What we've got in the matrix is the ability to colour in the different statements to reflect where you are. So across the 5, you may decide that statement 3 is your best fit, but there are elements of statement 4 that you are on the way to achieving. What we would suggest is use a darker colour, and the colour that you choose is entirely up to you. Darker colour to mark yourself up onto statement 3, and perhaps a lighter colour than in statement 4 indicates that's an area of work in progress. The whole notion of the matrix is that you would make an assessment and then review that assessment in the fullness of time. That might be over a 6-month period, it might be a 12-month period, it might be more regularly than that if that suits the service context that you're within. And you're able to compare then your own situation. You'll find, probably, that most of the time you're moving towards the descriptors in statement 5, which is obviously what would be a good outcome. But sometimes circumstances change that something that was scored in one way when you last looked at it needs to go back a step, or maybe even 2 steps, because the circumstances you're in have shifted. There are 2 other things that are worth noting when we get in to see the detail underneath each of the domains. We've got a box at the top of the domain called Most Important and Impactful Data Items. That comes from an online consensus building exercise that we undertook with a range of practitioners. And it gives you the sort of things that you might want to be thinking about when you're making your assessment. Similarly, at the end of the domains, we've got some test questions, which comes from a piece of work undertaken by the King's Fund, exploring the nature of multi-professional working in community settings. They're there as a reference point for you to check back against where you think you are, to test your own assessment.